98% of Americans will never become truly wealthy. Not because they aren't smart, not because they don't work hard. Most of them will spend 40 years at a job, pay their bills on time, and still retire with almost nothing saved. That statistic should terrify you, because it means hard work alone was never the answer. Something else is happening. Something most people never see, because no one ever taught them to look for it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the system is built this way, and more importantly, what the small percentage of people who do become wealthy understand that everyone else doesn't. Let's start with the biggest myth in personal finance, the idea that a good job makes you rich. A doctor can earn $300,000 a year and still be broke. A schoolteacher earning $50,000 a year can retire a millionaire. That sounds impossible, but it happens all the time. Income is not the same thing as wealth. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what you keep and what you grow. Here's where things get interesting. Most people don't lose money because they earn too little. They lose money because the moment their income goes up, their spending goes up right along with it. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. A new car when the raise comes in. A bigger apartment when the promotion hits. It feels like progress. It's actually a trap because it means no matter how much a person earns, they always spend just enough to stay exactly where they started. That's the first reason most Americans never become rich. But it's not the biggest one. The real problem happens earlier than that, and it happens without most people even noticing. Let's talk about how money actually grows. Imagine two people, both 25 years old. The first person starts investing $200 a month right away. The second person waits 10 years, then starts investing $400 a month, twice as much, trying to catch up. By the time they're both 65, assuming an average 8% return, the person who started early ends up with more money than the person who invested double, but started late. That's not a trick. That's math. It's called compound interest, and Albert Einstein reportedly called it the most powerful force in the universe. Most people don't realize that time matters more than money when it comes to building wealth. And that single misunderstanding costs the average American hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. So why doesn't everyone just start investing early? Here's the hidden truth nobody talks about. Most Americans were never taught how money works. Not in high school. Not in college. You can graduate with a degree in engineering or medicine and never once take a class on how a 401k works, what a stock actually is, or why debt at 18% interest can quietly destroy a family's future. Instead, most people learn about money from advertising. And advertising has one goal: convince you that happiness is one purchase away. That's not an accident. It's a business model. The average American sees around 5,000 ads a day. Almost all of them are designed to make you spend money you have, or worse, money you don't have yet. This leads to the second big reason people stay broke: debt used the wrong way. There's a difference between debt that builds wealth and debt that destroys it. A mortgage on a home that grows in value. That's often called good debt. A car loan on a vehicle that loses 40% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot, combined with a credit card balance carried month to month at 20% interest, that's the kind of debt that quietly bleeds people dry for decades. Here's a number that should shock you. The average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt at any given time. At a typical interest rate, if you only make minimum payments, that single balance can take over 15 years to pay off, and you'll pay almost double the original amount just in interest. That's money that could have been invested. That's money that could have compounded for 15 years. Instead, it went straight into a bank's profit margin. But here's where this gets even more interesting, because there's a psychological piece to this too. Humans are wired to prioritize today over tomorrow. It's called present bias. Your brain would rather have a reward right now than a bigger reward later, even when the math clearly favors waiting. That's why a vacation on a credit card feels better in the moment than watching a retirement account slowly grow. The brain isn't built for delayed gratification. It has to be trained for it. The people who become wealthy aren't smarter than everyone else. They've simply trained themselves to think in decades, not weekends. Now let's talk about the biggest mistake, the one that separates people who stay comfortable from people who actually build wealth. Most people believe wealth comes from a big salary or a lucky break. In reality, almost every self-made millionaire in America built their wealth the same boring way. They spent less than they earned, they invested the difference consistently, and they let time do the rest. According to research on American millionaires, the majority didn't inherit their money. They built it slowly, often while driving modest cars and living in ordinary homes, completely invisible to the people around them. Meanwhile, someone leasing a luxury car and living paycheck to paycheck can look rich on the outside while owning almost nothing. That's the illusion. Looking rich and being rich are often opposites. So what actually separates the wealthy few from everyone else? It comes down to 3 habits. First, they pay themselves first. Before rent, before bills, before anything else, a portion of every paycheck goes towards savings and investing, even if it's small. Second, they avoid debt that doesn't grow in value. They understand the difference between borrowing to buy an asset and borrowing to fund a lifestyle. Third, and this is the one most people ignore, they stay consistent for decades. Not months, not one good year. Decades. Wealth isn't built through a single brilliant decision. It's built through thousands of small, boring, repeated decisions that compound quietly in the background of an ordinary life. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Becoming wealthy in America isn't about luck, and it isn't only about income. It's about understanding a few basic rules that the school system never taught you, and choosing, starting today, to play a different game than the one advertising and easy credit want you to play. The people who stay broke aren't failing because the odds are impossible. They're failing because no one ever showed them the rules. Now you know them. The next move is yours. You can keep spending exactly like everyone around you. Or you can start today, even with a small amount, and let time turn it into something extraordinary. If this video helped you understand money a little better, subscribe for more videos about money, investing, and building wealth.